Happy to have this opportunity to go on YouTube Live. This is my first time doing YouTube Live. I've done Facebook Lives and Instagram Lives, and so it's about time I make it over here to this platform and share with you guys. So for those of you who are new here and haven't formally met me yet or met me yet, as I mentioned, my name is Dr. Reva Robinson, and I'm a functional medicine physician and NPC bikini competitor. Actually just got back from the gym, did a killer upper body workout, and I'm feeling really pumped and jazzed to be here with you this evening. So what prompted me to do this live today was, earlier today I was on Instagram and I posted a picture of a former version of me, circa 2005, when I was in college at Rice University. And so that would have been 19 years old for me. And in those days, I was a wreck. Had an extremely broken self-image. I was about 20 pounds heavier than I am now, which, on a pretty small frame, I'm 5'3", I looked quite a bit heavier, but it wasn't just the weight, it was the effect that weight had on my psyche and how I would binge and then binge exercise and just kept perpetuating this cycle of making myself feel worse and worse about myself. And in the meantime, I don't know if any of you out there can identify with this. Whenever your self-image is broken, then that affects every other aspect of your life. For me, I felt extremely detached from who I was. I didn't really know what I wanted, as far as pursuing a career. All I could focus on was, how do I lose weight? How do I get so-and-so's attention? How can I feel worthy? And so I wanted to just share today a little bit more about how I overcame those issues to, becoming a bikini competitor, but even before that, getting into medicine and feeling lost in my career in medicine and finding my way to who I am and to where I am today. So let's see. So I don't get too sidetracked because God knows I can ramble on and on telling my story. I want to just give you 4 key takeaways that can apply to your health, can apply to your career, relationships, whatever it may be. So before I lose my place, I'm just going to throw these out there and then weave them into my story and my journey. So first of all, as I already mentioned, self-image. So everything starts with self-image, whether it's believing that you're worthy to have abundant health and have plenty of energy and to lose weight. Maybe it's, feeling worthy to be in a particular relationship. Maybe it's feeling worthy to have a certain career. If you're going to pursue anything beyond where you are, your current station in life, you have to believe that you are worthy to have that. So for me, that was a big part of my healing and getting to the place I am today. Finally believing that I deserve to be in a career that made me feel alive, that I deserve to live in a body that was well nourished and healthy, and that I didn't have to punish myself to get that. So self-image is number 1. Got to start there. 2, whenever your self-image is repaired, whenever you feel whole, then it's easy to trust yourself. And this is a part following your gut. As you know, I am the gut queen. So whenever you feel you're worthy, you can trust yourself, it's easy to follow your gut and know that's sound. That's, our connection to our higher source power, whatever you may believe in. And ironically, the gut, as you might have seen in my other videos, is the major organ system that affects every other organ system in our life. It kind of drives everything in our physical world. Meanwhile, our gut, in the figurative sense, drives everything as far as our personal achievement and following your gut to get to that place. So Self-image one. Then you could trust yourself enough to follow your gut. And then three, that will allow you to find what makes you feel more alive. So going back to my journey, I can honestly say that I was just going through the motions, in college and med school, and never really felt like I was on a path to doing something that set my soul on fire, partially because I didn't trust myself. Part of that was that, I didn't believe I could actually find something that I loved. But then, I went back and, I was so desperate. I just wanted to figure out, well, what even outside of medicine makes me feel good? What is the one thing that I can count on? And that was exercise for me. So, by the time I got to medical school, I had gotten much, much better with my diet and nutrition, in college. In my later years of college, I had an amazing professor, Dr. Roberta Anding, who really helped me better understand the role food plays in our life and how to use food to properly nourish yourself. So by the time I got to med school, I had a pretty good understanding, and the self-image was starting to balance out a little bit more because I was starting to gain control of my body instead of feeling out of control. So the next thing was, well, I'm miserable in med school because I don't like this whole reactive medicine thing. Am I the only one here who feels like, they don't just want to drink the Kool-Aid? I'm not the kind of person who just wants to pop a pill and cover up the problem. I'm always the kind of get to the root source of the issue kind of a person. And so, I really felt like I didn't belong. I felt like I had ended up on the wrong course and I wasn't meant to be a doctor, which is kind of frustrating whenever you've invested so much of your time, so much money, which to this day we're still dealing with that, but that's a different story. So I started to think, okay, well, what is it that makes me happy? When do I feel like I'm in my element? And honestly, the only time that I was really happy in medical school was when I was in the gym or working out. And the really neat thing was that one of my best friends in medical school, Dr. Robert Lynch, we would do P90X at his apartment after class, and then we would like cook meals together. And there was something about that that just felt like, okay, this feels right. This feels like I'm doing something that brings purpose to me and purpose to my friends. And it's not necessarily medicine, but it still has to do with health. But maybe somehow I can use this in some way. And that got the wheels turning in my head, thinking about how I could use my passion, what made me feel like my element, and combine that with something that I thought was not for me, i.e. medicine. And so fitness for me has always been kind of my guiding light throughout my life. Doing gymnastics as a young girl, then once I stopped that, getting in the weight room as a teenager, and then continuing to do that. So it's part of my blood at this point. And so it just became natural as, well, let me not jump ahead, whenever I ended up resigning from my preventive medicine residency back in 2014 and felt lost. I knew that wasn't the right course for me. I had never entertained the idea of doing something else at that point in time, but I knew I was so miserable I could not continue doing that. So I followed my gut. I followed what made me feel alive. And the fourth point that I'm coming to is, don't be afraid to do what no one else is doing. So how many physicians do you know? And, I know quite a few now because I'm on Instagram and I see them out there, but how many physicians do you know who are bodybuilding competitors who walk, talk, eat, breathe, live wellness? There's not very many of us out there. So I knew that I wanted to be a different kind of physician who truly lived and breathed what it meant to be healthy. As otherwise, I felt like a total hypocrite being in the hospital writing prescriptions and never helping my patients in the way that I knew they deserved. So I'm not recommending that everybody become a bodybuilding competitor. Now, it is quite extreme, but what I've learned from my experience is that, I'm able to relate to my patients, my clients in such a way that I know the struggle. Like, I'm going up to try to get to this extreme, but it's still the same discipline. It's still the sacrifices that you have to make. It's still structuring your life in such a way that you can be successful in reaching your goals. And essentially, I've been able to, compete. I've been able to, coach many people and helping them lose weight and rebalance their lives. And, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing today if I hadn't gone through this unconventional path, if I hadn't dealt with all the issues of, overcoming the broken self-image and, reconnecting to my gut and learning how to trust myself and finally going the unbeaten path. So my final message to you today is, of course, follow your gut, but also know that you are worthy to follow whatever it is that sets your soul on fire. Maybe you don't know what that is yet. Maybe you just want to feel better. Maybe you know that your health isn't where it should be. Know that you can be better and you do deserve something better for your life and for your family's life and for your coworkers and your company's lives too. So I wanted to keep this under 10 minutes. I'm at 12. Really close. It was really, really close. So I'm going to sign off, guys. I hope this resonated with you in some way. If it did, please leave me some comments down below, and I will get back to you guys as soon as I can. I hope you enjoyed this little